Hi there. We're continuing our journey through the Tehillim, through the Psalms, and that means the praises in Hebrew, and we're in Psalm 119 in the Hebrew letter numbering system. That's Psalm Kuf, Yud, Tet. Kuf means 100, Yud is 10, and Tet is 9, so that's 119. And we've been seeing that this is a psalm beautifully crafted, divided up into stanzas, into sections. There are 176 verses, and if you can do your maths, that's 22 times 8. There are 22 letters in the Hebrew alphabet, and each of the 22 sections is of 8 lines, and each of those 8 lines begins with a different letter, the successive letter of the Hebrew alphabet. So today, the section we got to is this Hebrew letter, Zayin. There's this next section, and Zayin, we're not quite sure what the full meaning, the original picture of it was, probably of an agricultural implement like a plough or something like that, something to do with producing food. But the letter is now Zayin, it's a Z. And so all of these 8 lines in this stanza begin with a Z, begin with a Zayin. And so the first word is Zachor davar lavdecha, remember your word to your servant. This is a stanza which is really the servant of the Lord is reminding the Lord that he's in need of the Lord's support. He says, this is what comforts me. Zod nechamti, this is what comforts me in my trouble. And what you're saying actually keeps me alive. Hayatni, it actually keeps me in life. And then he's saying, arrogant people, zedim, the arrogant, the proud, are throwing insults at me. They're hurling abuse at me. They're really, adma'od, really badly. But he says, even then, I have not diverted Toratecha from your Torah formation. Remember, we've said that Torah is not law specifically, but is actually the instruction of God, the nurture of God, like a mother would give to a child. So he's not diverted from that formation. And then he says, I've remembered long ago, Zacharti mishpatecha me'olam, Adonai. I've remembered that long ago you set things to rights, and that actually has cheered me up. I'm cheer myself up with that thought that you are still in the business of setting things to right, even though this is all going on around me. And actually, I'm appalled, he says. I'm actually appalled at the criminals, the crooks, who are doing all this stuff and who are deserting your Torah formation. And instead of supporting it, they are acting evilly. And so he's in the midst of this time of evil where people seem to be deserting God, but he's saying, I'm not going to desert you. In fact, he says, your principles have been my song in the house of my wandering. It means I've been going around looking for the place where you are. I've been in this place of wandering, this place of traveling about, looking for you. And in that time, your principles have been hokecha, have been my song, zimrot, my songs, plural. In fact, I've been singing songs about your principles. And he says, I even got up. I remembered in the night, zacharti balayla. I remembered in the night, Lord, I will keep to your Torah, and this was mine. This belonged to me. This was my portion. This was what you gave to me, because I maintained your instructions. Pikodecha, natsati, I've maintained your instructions. So that's the Zayin stanza in this psalm, and it's really maintaining, in difficult circumstances, the singer's integrity. And then the next section begins with this letter of the Hebrew alphabet, Chet. It's a wonderful uvula fricative, is what you make your uvula, and it's a Chet. And originally this word signified a wall or a division in Hebrew. It's now this sign, as I say, it's the letter Chet, and all of the 8 lines in this section begin with the letter Chet, and the first word is Chelki, that means my portion, my share, my inheritance. So he's addressing, Lord, he's claiming again this blessing of God that has been promised to him. And he says, Lord, my inheritance, I've said, I will keep your word. Lishmor dvarecha, I will keep your word. My whole heart was desperate. Chiliti banecha b'chol lev. And in fact, that word chiliti actually means I got sick. I was pained. I was in pain. It's literally, I was so desperate for your presence, face, panecha. Panecha is that word meaning, panim is face in Hebrew, but it means presence. I was desperate, Lord, for your presence. And then he says, favor me, chaneni, ke'imratecha. Favor me in, as you've said, as according to your word, Lord. Show me your favor because I'm desperate for your presence. I considered my way of life. Hashavti darchai. I looked at my ways. I looked at the way I was leading. And actually, I turned around. Ve'ashiva raglai. I turned my footsteps around. Eladotecha, to your principles. Lord, I've sought to leave behind the bad things and I'm walking in your ways. I've decided, having considered my life, I've decided to walk your way. And so actually, I hurried without delay. And hashti, which means I hurried. Velo hitmahmati, I didn't delay to keep your mitzvoteka, to keep your instructions, to keep your directions. Even though, he says, hevle reshaim ivduni, even though the wicked, reshaim, were spinning their webs, were putting their snares, their ropes around me. But actually, I have not forgotten. Toratcha lo shachachti. I've not forgotten your formation. I've not forgotten your Torah. And in fact, he says, I will be up in the middle of the night. Chatzot laila akum. I'm going to get up even in the middle of the night because I'm so desperate for your presence. I'm so desperate to be with you, and I'm so surrounded by evil that I will get up in the middle of the night and I will thank you for the way in which you set things to rights. I will thank you for your justice. He's prepared to go to all lengths to pursue God. It says, I'm the friend of all who are in awe of you. I'm going to give myself not to these evil who are trying to trap me, but I'll give myself to those who also are in awe of you, with anyone who keeps to your pikudecha, to your instructions. And then he says, Hazdecha Adonai mal'a haaretz, that your chesed, Lord, your covenant bonded grace, mal'a haaretz, fills the earth. And this is a wonderful promise that wherever he looks, he sees the covenant bonded grace, the commitment of God to his covenant. And he says, Hukecha lamdeni, your principles disciple me. Lamdeni, the word talmid in Hebrew means a disciple. And so his principles are the ones that are mentoring, they are discipling, they are apprenticing the singer here. So there's an awful lot in these couple of stanzas that is the singer crying out, Lord, I need you, Lord, I want you. In the midst of evil, I'm prepared even to get up in the middle of the night to seek your face. I'm desperate for your presence. May we be like that, desperate, intentional, purposeful, not giving up on seeking God's face and seeing him releasing his blessing into our lives. Have a good day.